You know, one of the things I really used to love as a kid was breakfast cereal. Since finding out that I'm gluten, dairy, egg, and cane sugar free, I don't have boxed cereal. I don't go to the grocery store and buy that for myself anymore. Why? Because it has all the things in it that I can't have. And if it is a gluten free cereal, it has loads of cane sugar in it. And I'm just not doing that to my gut anymore. So, as y'all know, I like to come up with my own little recipes, child. And I done found a new way to make one of my childhood faves. So I want to show you today, okay? And I just want to share with you the different revelations that I get from just being on this journey, what God has been showing me about this new diet, this new journey, this new way of life. So today we're making my version of the Cocoa Pebble, maybe the Cocoa Krispies for the people who use the other brands of cereal. It don't matter, child. We making some cocoa rice cereal today, okay? You're gonna need a little pot, a little bit of vegan butter, a little salt, some cacao powder. Cacao powder is not the same as cocoa powder. The difference is that this is organic and the only ingredient is cacao powder. If you go and buy cocoa powder, there's milk ingredients in there, there's extra sugar added in there, so you want to get cacao powder. Some vanilla extract. I get the alcohol-free vanilla flavoring from Trader Joe's. You're gonna need some type of syrup of your choice. I'm using blue agave. I've used honey before. It wasn't my favorite because it got a little too sticky when I started to cook it, but it doesn't matter. You can use whatever you want to use, but I'm gonna be using blue agave. And this right here is the start of the show, honey. This brand I found when I was in Sprouts, and the only ingredient is organic brown rice. I scanned this using the Yucca app too. If you've ever used the Yucca app and you go and scan brand name box cereal, child, they're all bad in the red. They contain all these different hazardous ingredients. So I'm trying to stay away from that kind of stuff, okay? If you don't know what the Yucca app is, child, you're gonna have to search it. Y-U-K-A is how you spell it. I'm not getting no money for saying this. I'm just telling you, as a girl who's trying to be careful with what she eats, the keys to living this lifestyle, okay? And making sure that you stay healthy, that you keep your gut healthy. You can use that app to scan the barcode of certain things and it'll tell you if it's hazardous, if it's okay for you to consume. Not just food, but like hair products, skincare, things like that. So this company is called The Real Cereal Company, and so far I've been loving it. So we're gonna turn this on medium low heat. And then I'm gonna take a little scoop of this butter. Not too much, okay? You don't want this to be a buttery mess. You just need enough to get that buttery flavor and to help that syrup not be so sticky as well. So maybe about this much. So I am melting the butter in the little small pot, and then I'm going to be adding about a capful of the vanilla flavoring. All of this is based on your taste. It doesn't really matter. Depends on if you want to make a big bowl, a small bowl. You just need to make sure that you have more syrup than you have butter, that you also put a dash of salt. And when you start to add your cacao powder, you make this as chocolatey as you want it to be. But just know that the more cacao powder that you add, it'll make it thicker. So you want this to be more runny like a syrup, so that when you add in your cereal, it can coat all of the cereal with no issues and without being too sticky. So I prefer mine very chocolatey. And this is another reason why I love to also make my own cereal, because I can make it just how I want to make it. I control how much sugar goes in it. I control all of the ingredients. It's up to me. Now, once you put your cereal in the pot, you want to mix this. It may take a little while, maybe about 3 minutes or so, but you just want to make sure that all of the cereal is coated. Depending on how large your bowl is, this could take a little bit longer or not so long at all. After that, I have parchment paper right here, and I'm going to let this sit on the parchment paper, spread it out kind of thin so that it can cool off. If you want to eat them hot, child, that's your business, but cereal is usually not hot, so I let mine cool down. But right here, I'm just spreading it thin. And do note that because you use agave syrup, it will be a little sticky, but when you add the milk, it will separate it. Now, while we wait on that to cool, hear me very clearly, okay? I want you to know that God makes everything new, even down to the minute details, the ones that we think are unimportant. Your diet is important. I know the fear, I know the anxiety, I know the distrust, the discomfort that comes with accepting the fact that you have to change your diet. Yes, you do, in order to have better health. I cried about it. I was very stressed about it. I went into a slight depression about it because a lot of us live lives where food is the main part of our life. It's how we bond with family. It's how we celebrate things. It's what we go to when we're sad. It's what we go to when we are happy. Especially in my culture, food is just one of the biggest parts of my culture. So understand, having to change that almost feels like you have to change your identity. It almost feels like you're walking into something that is just very unknown, something that will just not be fun and enjoyable. But God has shown me, and He reminds me that He makes all things new. Just because it's new doesn't mean that it's bad. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a terrible experience. It does not mean that you will not enjoy it. It just means that it's new. And we are creatures of habit. We love what we love. But again, when you start to commit to a new diet, a new way of life, God will start to show you just why it's beneficial to you, just how it can change your mind, how it can change your heart, how it can physically heal you, and not just physically, but it can mentally and spiritually heal you as well. What I eat, I enjoy. What I was once afraid of entering into, God showed me it is not a scary thing. In fact, if you hold my hand while you do it, I'll show you just how much you'll love it. So I want you to hold on to that. It's going to be difficult in the beginning, but as you journey through and as you amble on, you will start to find so much peace, so much joy, so much happiness in that change. And not only will you find happiness in the fact that it tastes good, child, you'll find happiness in the fact that it's changing your body from the inside out. When you look at yourself, you will feel differently. When you wake up in the morning, you'll feel differently. When you're working out, you'll notice that you have more energy, that you last longer. You'll notice that when you're going to the doctor, you're not getting those bad reports about your blood pressure and your sugar levels and all of that stuff. It will change you, okay? We have gotten so used to operating outside of our natural selves because we're in a land that is very foreign to many of us, that when it's time to leave that zone, it's uncomfortable. But I'm gonna remind you as well that a lot of times when God wants to elevate you, the circumstances will get uncomfortable. Even remembering Elijah in the wilderness, when the ravens brought him food. After a certain time, that brook had to dry up because it was time for him to then move on. When that brook dried up, God told him, okay, get up and go. The circumstances here, I know they're uncomfortable, but because you're in this space, I'm going to use this to get you from this point to the next point. So do not look at it as punishment. Don't look at it as something that is hard to conquer, because you can conquer it. Just recognize that, you know what, this is something that's going to change me, that is going to elevate me, okay? And I wanted to remind y'all of that because I had to remember that myself. God reminded me of that. But let's try the cereal, child. Now this is what it looks like in the bowl. I'm using Ripple milk today. There is just something about making your own cereal that just makes it 10 times better than store-bought cereal. And yes, it made the chocolate milk that the cocoa cereal always makes. Hope y'all love this video. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe.